A fire breaks out in a large house. The fire chief allows only new equipment, even though it's less effective. A group of firefighters defies the order, uses the old proven tools, and contains the blaze in many places. They are labeled disobedient and punished. This parable, offered by Bishop Athanasius Schneider, captures his view of the current crisis. On February 26, 2026, the auxiliary bishop of Astana published a Fraternal Appeal to Pope Leo XIV. His request is stunning in its directness. Grant the apostolic mandate for the SSPX's planned episcopal consecrations. Schneider's argument is not based on emotion, but on history, specifically the practice of the early church. He begins with a startling claim. The acceptance of papal primacy is often confused with the concrete forms through which a bishop expresses his unity with the pope. To believe in papal primacy, to acknowledge the actual pope, to adhere to all the church has taught infallibly, this is of divine right. But equating disobedience to a papal command with schism was foreign to the Church Fathers. His evidence is striking. In 357, St. Athanasius disobeyed Pope Liberius, who ordered him into communion with semi-Arian bishops. Athanasius was excommunicated, yet the Church honors him as a doctor and defender of the faith. Disobedience in his case was not schism, it was fidelity. Schneider points to Nicaea in 325, which required a new bishop to be consecrated with the consent of provincial bishops, not the pope. St. Athanasius himself consecrated his successor on his deathbed without Roman approval. In 1977, Cardinal Joseph Slippi secretly consecrated 3 bishops in Rome against the will of Pope Paul VI, knowing the Vatican's Ostpolitik forbade it. When Rome learned, no excommunication followed. Even the 1917 Code of Canon Law punished unauthorized consecrations only with suspension, not excommunication. The Church did not consider such acts schismatic. Schneider's diagnosis of today's crisis is precise. He cites an article from Rorate Caeli titled "The Long Shadow of Vatican II, Ambiguity as Ecclesial Cancer." The problem, he argues, is not that Vatican II was heretical, but that it was ambiguous. When the Church speaks in vague terms, souls are at stake. When doctrinal development requires decades of theological gymnastics to reconcile with previous teaching, we must ask, is this development or rupture? The SSPX, Schneider insists, desires nothing more than to help the Church recover her perennial clarity. He quotes Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre, "We believe in Peter, but the Pope has received the Holy Ghost not to make new truths, but to maintain us in the faith of all time. We cannot remain indifferent before the degradation of faith, morals, and liturgy. We do not want to separate ourselves from the Church. We want the Church to continue." If someone considers difficulties with the Pope among his greatest spiritual sufferings, Schneider argues, that proves there is no schismatic intent. True schismatics boast of separation. The SSPX humbly implores recognition. Then he points to a painful double standard. The Holy See has shown remarkable generosity to the Communist Party of China, allowing them to select bishops. Yet its own children, the SSPX faithful, are treated as second-class citizens. The SSPX makes the same Tridentine Vatican profession of faith made by the Council Fathers themselves. Pope Paul VI explicitly stated in January 1966 that the Council did not intend to pronounce infallible dogmas. If that profession was sufficient for the Fathers, why is it insufficient for the SSPX? Schneider appeals to Pope Leo's own words. At Ecumenical Vespers on January 25, 2026, the Pope declared that Catholics and non-Catholic Christians are already one because they share the minimum of Christian faith. Yet the SSPX, which professes the full Catholic faith, is treated as doctrinally suspect. Schneider cites Pope Benedict XVI's haunting words. One has the impression that at critical moments, not enough was done by church leaders to maintain unity. Omissions on the part of the Church have had their share of blame for divisions that hardened. Schneider's closing plea to Pope Leo is direct and personal. Most Holy Father, grant the apostolic mandate. You are the father of 2 generations of faithful who love the Pope and wish to be true sons of the Roman Church. Stand aside from partisanship. Build the bridge you promised. Do not go down in history as one who allowed a painful division while synodal processes boast of inclusivity. The SSPX has 491 priests, 215 seminarians, 6 seminaries, 88 schools, and thousands of lay faithful. Should the Church let them drift away?